Every once in a while, a game comes along that is considered legendary. A game that forever marks its place in history, either for good or bad reasons. This is one of those games. With the release of Shadow the Hedgehog, it became clear that it was time for Sonic to go back to basics, and with the franchise turning 15 in 2006 and the next generation of consoles releasing at the same time, it was as if the stars themselves were aligning for something legendary to occur for Sonic. The first teaser of this new game was shown behind closed doors at first, and it showed Sonic doing what he does best, running fast, destroying robots, and going Super Saiyan. While no title was given, it was nicknamed Sonic Next Gen, with plans to release on the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and Nintendo Wii. That was until Sonic Team got the finalized specs for the Wii and realized, oh my god, this literally is just two GameCubes duct taped together. There was just no way that this game could run on the Wii, and thus Sega split Sonic Team in half, having one team work on the next-gen Sonic game, and the other make an entirely new game specifically for the Wii. Then, as if things just couldn't get any worse, future convict and co-founder of Sonic Team, Yuji Naka, left Sega, and a good chunk of Sonic Team who were loyal to him left with him, leaving this new Sonic game on unfamiliar HD hardware with a fraction of its initial dev team, and Sega refused to budge on the Christmas 2006 deadline. In fact, I just want to get this out of the way right now, but I do not blame Sonic Team for anything bad in this game. It's ultimately the fault of Sega's top brass at the time for being so stubborn. On November 14th, 2006, Sonic the Hedgehog released, with it coming a month later to PS3, and yes, Sonic the Hedgehog. The title was a remnant of the fact that this game was actually supposed to be a hard reboot for the series, but generally, the game is referred to nowadays as Sonic Next Gen, Sonic 06, Sonic 2006, or
the bad one.
Upon release, the game would be met with almost unanimous negativity, and would be heavily criticized for how bad the story, gameplay, characters, glitches, everything was. It probably didn't help that this also released the same year as Sonic Riders, which was a pretty good extreme sports racing game, and Sonic Genesis for the GBA. They literally have no excuse for this one, I'm just saying that now. What surprises me is that the opinion on this game has actually shifted for the better over the years, definitely in no small part thanks to Project 06, a remake of the game in the Unity engine. Later this year, Sonic 06 will turn 20 years old, so I see no better time than to at long last dive into Sonic 06 and see if it truly was the game that people say nearly killed Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, before we dive into the story, let's get some technical babble out of the way first. I would normally tell you to play this game on the 360 like I am, but thanks to Microsoft, the 360's online storefront is now gone forever, and the DLC that this game once had is now only accessible on the PS3 version, which sucks because the PS3 version runs worse. Yeah, in spite of it objectively being the more powerful console, thanks to its insanely complex architecture, most multi-platform games would just run better on the 360. So before you ask, no, unfortunately I will not be covering the DLC. Although I have heard some good things about them, like the very hard levels just being pretty fun overall, and especially Team Attack Amigo, which I've heard is just the best part of this game. Also, the big reason that I'm playing this on 360 and not the PS3 is that stupid-ass DRM shit with capture cards that I just don't feel like daisy-chaining shit together to bypass it. Fuck the PS3. I love you, overheating, poorly built piece of shit that will definitely red ring at some point. Our story begins in... Wait a minute, I thought I was playing a Sonic game. Why the hell are there realistic humans here? Fire? What the fuck?
Princess Elisa Soleara, I'm taking from Bowser and kidnapping you.
No, you're not, shit-ass. Is that Sonic the fuck-ass Hedgehog? Guess what? I can only count to one.
Confounded Hedgehog, kill him!
Sonic rushes off with Elise, and after a bit, sets her down so that he can take care of some badniks. However, in that time, Dr. Eggman manages to capture Elise, with her tossing Sonic her Chaos Emerald before it's too late, with Sonic vowing to get her back. Now here's the thing, while this is the first cutscene in the game, the real narrative actually starts prior to this cutscene in the far future, where we see that the world has been engulfed in flames.
Hi, I'm Silver the Hedgehog, and my life sucks. There aren't any more Taco Bells because the fire monster named Iblis destroyed the world.
Silver! I found a Taco Bell! Blaze and Silver end up encountering the flames of disaster known as Iblis. Now, while they aren't able to beat it, Silver laments this endless cycle he and Blaze find themselves in when suddenly... May I offer some advice? In order to save the last Taco Bell, you must destroy the very being who unleashed the flames.
Okay, but like how? Whoa, did we just warp?
Yes, and now to answer your stupid fucking question, I can send you back in time to kill the Iblis trigger. Here, take my emerald and see for yourself.
Beavis and Butthead was right, I love fire! What?
Silver, isn't that Sega's mascot? Yes, he made games so bad it caused Iblis to awaken, so it must be you, the goodest of Christian boys, to kill him. Now go. Silver arrives in the past, but it seems that he, Blaze, and that shadow-looking guy got separated when they teleported. Silver spots Sonic the night that Elise is captured, and just as he's about to make his move... Sonic!
Well, hey, stop that, I'm really sensitive to a woman's touch!
Oh shit, you're not Sonic!
Ow!
I can't believe I touched another man!
It's fine, and, oh no, he ran away!
Oh, you were after someone too? How about I help you?
I would rather do this on my own.
I'm fucking helping you!
Yes, ma'am.
The next morning, Sonic chases the egg carrier through Wave Ocean, but Sonic just isn't able to catch the thing in time despite being Sonic the fucking Hedgehog. So he and Tails, who is here all of a sudden now, manage to track the egg carrier into the desert.
I don't like sand. It's coarse, it's rough, and it gets...
I swear to God, if you finish that Revenge of the Sith quote, I'll... okay, hug, okay.
Sonic!
Sonic, I need to water Bowser, so I'm sending my pit bull after you.
After a brutal fight with Cupcake and hightailing it out of the desert, Sonic and Elise return to Soliana when... Whoa, hey! Who blasted that energy at me?
Me, you devil! I will destroy you to save countless lives and Taco Bell!
Really? Taco Bell? At least fight for some good fast food like Wendy's. I just realized this. I could technically get in trouble for saying stuff like this, so I'm not sponsored by any of these like entities or any. There is no sponsor. This is just me being funny. I promise. After a brutal fight, Silver manages to actually get a good hit in on the blue blur, but before he can finish him off, Elise is once again captured by Eggman.
Oh, well, that sucks. Anyway, perish, you demon!
Stop!
You will not hurt my dildo!
Don't ever call me that again, but I guess thanks anyway.
Why? Why would you want to kill Sonic? He's the Antichrist. His bad games will lead to the death and destruction of so many lives. Not to mention the Taco Bell's loss to...
Taco Bell? At least kill for some good shit like Wendy's. And if Sonic leads to the death of Taco Bell, then I choose Sonic.
Amy, does this mean I have no Riz?
Meanwhile, Sonic heads off to Newtown in search of Knuckles, who he finds by the warehouses. Knuckles! How's that robotic guard dog of yours doing?
Shut up, Sonic. Anyway, check out this cool Pokedex I found.
Sonic, if you want Elise to live, bring me the blue emerald she gave you.
Yeah, I'm fine with just letting her die.
Me too.
What the hell, you two?
Team Sonic tracks Eggman down to his base in the White Acropolis and fight the snowboard physics as they go. Meanwhile, Silver is doing some soul searching when Blaze finally finds him.
Blaze, are we bad for wanting to save Taco Bell? Were they ever even good to begin with?
Oh, hell no, but you can't beat those prices. Also, as bad as their food was, those Mexican pizzas, they just hit different, you know? Alright, Eggman, here's the emerald. Now release the princess and no one gets hurt. Oh, come on, dude! I thought we had a deal! Sonic!
Hold don't worry, you dumb little bitch. I just sent them to the future.
Team Sonic land in what seems to be a rundown version of Eggman's base far into the future, where Silver originates from, and...
Hey boys, long time no see.
Oh fuck, I completely forgot about Shadow. Shadow's story opens with him breaking into Eggman's base, destroying robots, causing explosions, you know, cool guy stuff. Shadow was sent by Gun to retrieve an artifact from the base, which... Why the fuck is Shadow working for the guys who have made his entire life a living hell? I guess when Shadow bid farewell to his past in the previous game, that meant forgiving a lot of grudges he held against the people who killed Maria, executed Gerald by firing squad, and not to mention all the shit in SA2 and his own game, but hey, whatever, water under the bridge, am I right? Shadow manages to find Rouge, who retrieved this Scepter of Darkness, and after fighting off the Pitbull, they escaped Soliana.
Shadow, did you know that Soliana has a high infant mortality rate?
I wish you would stop talking. Shadow and Rouge make their way to the rendezvous point in Kingdom Valley when they are ambushed by none other than...
Me! Now give me the vibrator so I can use it for evil. Oh, fuck!
Oh, that's a cool effect only possible thanks to next generation hardware. Yes, very cool. And I have you to thank, Shadow.
Wait, hold up. How do you know my name?
I am Mephiles, and I find it odd you do not remember me as well as I remember you. Now die. Mephiles uses his power to send Rouge and Shadow into the ruined future, but Shadow's biggest concern isn't how the future became so fucked, but rather how Mephiles knew him in the first place. They discover that they're in Eggman's base, and they soon find Team Sonic, who have also been warped to the future.
Guys, I need to get back. The Master Emerald gets lonely.
We'll need to open a space-time rift in order to get back to the present. Well, that should be no problem for the ultimate life form.
Sonic, I will break my foot off in your ass.
After a run-through of what looks to be modern-day Detroit, Rouge and Shadow find a Chaos Emerald, but also find...
Omega! What happened to him?
He ran out of weed and died.
Oh, poor Omega.
The two gangs meet up once again and run through an active volcano, where they then find the next Chaos Emerald.
Finders keepers! Don't touch it!
Then out of nowhere, a massive tapeworm version of Iblis emerges, with the group having to take it down if they want to get back to the present. And after one lengthy as hell boss fight, Iblis goes down.
Chaos Control!
Everyone hops through the portal, but just as Shadow is about to, he spots Mephiles and decides to give chase. Rouge arrives in the present with one emerald and is shocked to not find Shadow.
Agent Rouge, have you retrieved the Book of Darkness?
It turns out it was a vibrator, but I mean, kinda, can you provide me the location of E123 Omega, pretty please?
This results in Rouge running through what can be considered one of the easiest levels in the entire game, where she then comes into contact with Omega.
Rouge, my voice actor has completely changed for some reason, but we are going to completely ignore that.
Yeah, that sounds fair to me. Here, take this Chaos Emerald. It's green, so it should fulfill your weed needs.
You are based and red-pilled for this. I shall search the entire universe for Shadow.
Shadow, look at this.
Huh?
The humans needed a scapegoat when I mean Sonic destroyed the world, and so they crucified you. Join me, and together we can take revenge against these humans.
Yeah, no, been there, done that, ain't doing it again.
Fine. Die. Omega!
Shadow, I have brought the weed emerald.
Oh, fuck this.
Shadow, Rouge, and Omega meet up at the warehouse to discuss what to do next, with Shadow deciding to run off and find Eggman to ask him what he knows about Mephiles and Iblis.
God damn it, don't karate chop my head in again!
Tell me what you know about Mephiles, you scrotum-looking fuck.
Do I look like I know? Because I do! It has to do with what happened here 10 years ago.
I've only been awake for 5.
Hey, enough of the time shenanigans. There's no time that has passed since session 2, and the mood is perfectly fine.
Jeez, woman, this is like, what, the 3rd time?
4th, actually.
Anyway, yeah, you're welcome. Now try to avoid getting kidnapped again.
I'm kidnapping you again.
Fuck!
God damn, you're worse than Princess Peach. Whoa! I got you this time.
Well, this time's the charm.
God damn it, Elise! Maybe this time you'll learn your lesson.
Hold it right there. No one gets to kill this blue fuck but me.
Mephiles, what are you doing here?
I am Shadow, and you're fucking racist.
No! I'm a good Christian boy!
Chaos Control.
Ah! Alright then. I'll use your Chaos Control!
Alright, you want to know the truth about Mephiles and Taco Bell? Follow me if you dare, for you're in for a scare.
Did he just reference Goosebumps?
Shadow and Silver arrive 10 years into the past, where they witness the disaster of the Solaris Project and the separation of the god into Iblis and Mephiles. Shadow pursues Mephiles and manages to seal him in the Scepter of Darkness. Meanwhile, Silver gives chase to Iblis and tries to seal him away, only for the King of Soliana to seal Iblis within a young Princess Elise and informs her that should she ever cry, Iblis will be released, as he then passes away from his injuries.
Shadow, I think I have a daughter now. I have to raise her.
No the fuck you don't.
Oh, thank heavens, I'm not ready for a child.
Alright, let's go back to the future.
Yeah, I'll be right behind you.
Silver then gives the blue emerald to Elise and tells her to think of it as a lucky charm before returning to the present and running into Blaze. It's here that the individual stories begin to wrap up. First, let's tackle Shadow's ending as...
Agent Shadow, E123 Omega has engaged Mephiles. Head to the Wave Ocean, head to Wave Ocean. Agent Shadow, E123 Omega has engaged Mephiles. Head to Wave Ocean immediately.
Wow, they couldn't be bothered to fix that, huh? Anyway, Omega chases Mephiles down to Wave Ocean, but Mephiles manages to escape into the desert ruins with Team Dark close on his tail.
Shadow, join me, and I will make you a god. No.
Shadow attempts to reseal Mephiles, but this time the seal fails, with Mephiles taunting Shadow, saying how futile it is as the world will just end up betraying him, with Shadow giving probably one of the hardest lines that he's ever said.
If the world chooses to become my enemy, I will fight like I always have.
Shadow then removes the inhibitor rings from his wrists and blows away the army of Mephiles clones. Meanwhile, Sonic and Silver rush through Kingdom Valley to catch the egg carrier, which, as we find out, is about to crash, but unfortunately Sonic just isn't fast enough.
Elise! Oh, God! Sonic, wait, we can time travel.
Oh right, I forgot!
Chaos Control!
Silver, go save Taco Bell!
You mean it?
Hey, who am I to judge what fast food someone likes? Sonic then travels just far back enough in time that Eggman hasn't launched the egg carrier yet and rushes off to Aquatic Base. Meanwhile, Blaze and Silver head back to the future with the two Chaos Emeralds that they have and confront Iblis one final time, with Silver attempting to seal the flames in his body, which it rejects.
I don't get it. Why Iblis?
Silver, let me. Silver, use Chaos Control and seal me away in another dimension.
Blaze, I can't. You're my closest friend. I just can't do that to you.
Fine, I'll do it myself.
Blaze!
Remember to brush your teeth. With that, Blaze is effectively dead, but Silver's future is saved, so, I mean, that's good at least. However, back in the present, hey shit-ass, you suck at making ships.
Just let me have this, Sonic. I haven't been the final boss since Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I need this.
Sonic and Eggman engage in one last battle, with Sonic coming out victorious as he takes Elise and rushes off the crashing egg carrier, with them just being able to make it to solid ground in time. The day has officially been saved, with all three Hedgehog stories wrapping up. There is once again a last story segment, as has become tradition with 3D Sonic games, but we'll save that for the end of the video. For now, I want to give my thoughts on this story and... Jesus Christ, where do I begin? Okay, well maybe it's good to start with this game's art direction. I understand that they wanted to make usage of these new and more powerful systems, but why go for hyper-realistic in 2006? This shit was just never gonna hold up, and it makes 06 look dated by today's standards. Not to mention, Eggman's Coke can nipples redesign is just plain ugly. And the human NPCs have it just as bad, as they don't really jive well with Sonic's world like the human NPCs of the Dreamcast era did, because those guys were all just anime inspired. In terms of the characters themselves, well, they're all okay for the most part, and I do feel satisfied with how they're portrayed here. I want to focus on our 2.5 newcomers to the series, Elise, Silver, and Blaze. Elise herself, honestly, she just feels like a character who is here just for Sonic to save and nothing else. I don't feel like she has much of a personality, which is strange because she's very much implied to be Sonic's love interest in this game. I could see her working if they just fleshed her out, but no. After this game, she's gone with the wind and never mentioned again. Silver is a cool character, and I actually really like him. He's pretty much just Trunks from Dragon Ball, and the moment that he has with Blaze where he questions if it's right to kill one person in order to save the world, I think that's a really good moment for him, even if it does take a while for him to realize the true answer to that question. His psychic powers are also pretty cool too, just really only in cutscenes. More on that in a bit. Blaze, why are you here? She feels like she just doesn't have much to do in this story, mainly serving as support for Silver, which is such a shame because in her debut game, Sonic Rush, she was a powerful queen who hailed from another dimension. I personally feel like this is a separate version of Blaze who hails from Sonic's dimension, and that's really only because I think that's the best way you can explain the retcon of her origin, and then subsequent unretcon of it in future titles. Blaze feels like an afterthought who was added solely because Sonic Rush made her popular. Then there's the actual story itself, which can be good sometimes, or okay, or just downright laughable. My main problem here is time travel. Why time travel? It's such an easy thing to fuck up if you don't set clear rules and boundaries for it, and sure enough, it leads to continuity errors in this game. It sets up that the way time travel works is that time is malleable, as actions in the past will affect the future. In fact, that is Silver's entire reason for traveling back into the past. However, you then have Mephiles and Shadow, as it is shown that Shadow was always meant to seal Mephiles away in the past, which shouldn't be possible since the Solaris disaster occurred while Shadow was still sealed away on Prison Island. So that means time isn't malleable, and Shadow traveling back to the past to seal Mephiles was always intended to happen? Then there's the fact that with just 2 people, each with a Chaos Emerald, can allow anyone to open up a time-space rift, effectively allowing them to time travel at will, which is so stupid. Not to mention, one portal can lead to different places in time, like the portal that Sonic and Silver open, with it sending Sonic only a few hours into the past, but Blaze and Silver into the far future. Truth be told, the Hedgehogs could just travel 10 years into the past and stop Elise's father from conducting the Solaris project in the first place. No more impending doom, Elise's father is saved, the future is saved. Did no one think of this? Speaking of Elise, we're told that in order for the seal on Iblis to remain, she can't cry. Ever. Which, like, alright, fine, sure, I guess I can believe that. If it wasn't for the fact that her father died when she was a child. I'm sorry, but that seal on Iblis should have failed right there and then. I cannot realistically believe that a small child would not cry at the death of their only remaining parent. Jesus Christ, you know what? Why don't we stop talking about the story and switch to something else for now, like the playable characters, something that I actually have some positive stuff to talk about. Let's start off with the Blue Blur himself, as he's my personal favorite out of the 3. Sonic maintains a lot of his abilities from the previous games, with some now being upgrades that can be purchased at a shop like the Lightspeed Dash. The only issue I really have for him is his movement, and this really applies to all characters, as all of their movement has been retuned after how slippery they were in Heroes and Shadow, and instead of just copying what they did with the adventure titles, they made it so that everyone was incredibly sensitive to the analog stick. With just the slightest nudge of the analog stick, Sonic & Co. can turn and stop on a dime. At least the acceleration is fine, although one thing of note here is that everyone has a lower top speed than normal. That's something I don't really understand. Even Sonic has this issue, but I suppose it was to compensate for how sensitive the controls are. For me personally, I don't really mind it. It's shocking, but I think this game actually controls fine. Not great, but not bad either. Sonic can homing attack enemies, which is your primary means of attack, as the ability to just jump on enemies no longer works. Why remove such a basic feature which has been a standard since Sonic 1 on the Genesis? Sure, it wasn't as useful as the homing attack, but to have the option was always nice. You can also attack with this sweeping kick and this slide, which you can purchase as an upgrade later on. Same goes for the bounce attack, but it's so late into the game that I personally don't find it really useful. Speaking of not being useful, what did they do to you, Spin Dash? It kinda sucks that the best the Spin Dash has ever been in 3D was SA1, and it's just been downhill ever since. Hell, it wasn't even in Heroes. It's back here, but you have to be at a total standstill in order for the thing to work, and it's rarely useful. In 4 different levels, Sonic will remember that he's Sonic the fuck-ass Hedgehog, and will make us experience these Mach Speed sections, which I have some issues with. Only some, I swear. First off, if you so much as stub your toe on a pebble, there goes all your rings and potentially a life. Sonic also suffers from Belmont syndrome in these, because if he jumps, you are putting a ring on it. You can't turn in mid-air, which can fuck you over in these sections if you aren't careful. Sonic also still has a high turn speed during these parts, so I'd honestly just recommend lightly tapping the stick to turn Sonic so that he doesn't die by running face first into a tree like George of the Jungle. Does anyone else remember that movie? I'm getting off track. My feelings on these sections are that they can be exhilarating if the level is designed well, which I feel only 2 out of the 4 are. The Mach Speed section from Wave Ocean isn't super bad as long as you play it safe. Crisis City just flat out fucking sucks. Shit is being thrown at you from behind, and the camera will just turn around at one point to show you the fire tornado, which honestly is so fucking disorienting, and it's the only level where I got close to getting a game over. Radical Trains is fine. I personally think that the opening part sucks. Lastly is Kingdom Valley, which I actually thought was the most fun out of the 4. It's challenging, but it never feels punishing, and the way that this place looks, I think also helps in my liking of it a lot. Next, let's talk about Shadow, as he plays similarly to Sonic, albeit a bit slower, but they both have the homing attack. Shadow, however, places more emphasis on combat, and that he can do this attack combo when coming out of a homing attack, and can even use Chaos Spear. They place more enemies in Shadow's levels to really encourage just wailing on these assholes. Shadow's homing attack even has a larger range, probably to compensate for the removal of guns from his own game. Shadow can also no longer access the Chaos abilities in normal gameplay. You can later on get these memory shards which allow him to access the Chaos boost, which I don't actually know what this does. Apparently it allows for Chaos Blast, but I don't have any footage of me using it, because I didn't even know it was in the game until doing research for this video. Psst. Also, just like Sonic, Shadow can buy an upgrade that grants him access to the Lightspeed Dash. Shadow can also access various vehicles throughout his journey, and my opinions on these ranged wildly. The hang glider is fine, as it allows you to shoot rockets at enemies, all of them do. My only complaint with this one is really a personal thing. They didn't invert the flight controls, which just messes with me. Shadow can also get a buggy and a motorcycle, and while the buggy controls fine aside from the occasional tire getting stuck in the floor, I hate the delayed then sudden turning of the bike's wheel. It feels so unnatural and it caused me to fuck up quite a lot. Lastly is the hover vehicle, which your enjoyment of this thing will vary depending on how patient you are or not. The thing can only be used in 2 levels, and while it's fine in Dusty Desert as you just need to move between these pillars, there is a strong chance that you will loathe this thing come Kingdom Valley, and I'll talk about why when we get to the stages. Lastly is newcomer Silver the Hedgehog, who I think out of the 3 main Hedgehogs is the worst. What's kind of a shame is that it's not entirely his fault either. So, fun fact, this game, like many others from this era, uses the Havoc physics engine, and Sonic Team wanted a character who could mess with objects and obstacles in fun ways, so it was decided that Silver would have psychokinesis to allow him to pick up, move, and throw objects, which is a really cool idea and great use of this new engine. My main problem is that for a good while, picking up objects and chucking them at enemies is Silver's only means of attack, and one that isn't elegant in execution, as objects that you hold can collide with others and break either right there or go wildly off course, missing the enemy completely. Silver can also hover in the air with his powers, which if you spam fuck the A button, will let you gain some serious distance with it. You can do some cool stuff with Silver's psychic powers, like stand on top of a box and use it as a platform to levitate into the air and even move around a bit with it, which is nice. You can even use that power on certain chained objects to use them as wrecking balls. There are even these context-sensitive psychic spots that allow Silver to move large objects and hold them in place. The only thing that really limits you on the use of this stuff is the power bar, which is shared between all three main hedgehogs. The purpose of this bar is to limit the usage of special abilities that the characters have. Shadow's chaos abilities, Silver's psychokinesis, and these power gems that Sonic can purchase at a shop. It's mostly to ensure that you don't, break the game in two. There's just one slight problem with that. You see, while this bar does work as intended for Shadow and Silver, it wasn't coded properly for Sonic, and thus he can use the color gems infinitely, and just to give you an idea of how busted that can be, let's see here, there's one that allows you to slow down time except for Sonic, getting large-ass time bonuses at the end of a level or mission, one that pretty much just acts as a precursor to the boost gameplay. Hell, there's one that shrinks Sonic down and gives him the space jump from Metroid, allowing you to completely skip entire level sections with ease. Fortunately, the main three hedgehogs are the only ones that have to worry about the power bar, as the other characters you play as don't have any unique abilities limited by it. I won't spend too much time on the amigos since they aren't as important, but they're still worth talking about, I feel. Tails, Knuckles, Rouge, Omega, Blaze, and Amy all can be switched to at certain points in the levels, and all have unique abilities to make them stand out from the hedgehogs. Tails is pretty much back to his SA1 days, except he can't do that tail attack, and instead, he has these dummy ring bombs that I don't really like, as you have to come to a complete stop when you're using them. He also just drops like a rock for some reason when you run out of flight. Knuckles is fine, he functions as you would expect, although his fist attacks aren't worth shit anymore, and he can get stuck on walls very easily for some odd reason, which is a problem that Rouge also shares. Speaking of which, Rouge is pretty much just a female Knuckles, except instead of useless melee attacks, she has bombs, which have the same problem that Tails' ones have. Omega isn't as versatile as he was back in Heroes, but his bullet attacks can get the job done, and you can spam his hover, similar to Silver, but there is no limit on this thing, so you can just straight up break entire levels and fly over them whenever he's available, like in Wave Ocean. Blaze is hands down the best amigo in the game. She moves a little slower than Sonic, but she has an unobtrusive double jump, a homing attack, a fiery spin attack. You can even leave the universe should you tire of this bitch-ass world. Lastly is Amy, who is the fucking worst. She is slow, she has this invisible cloak, which is fine, but her hammer was neutered as it now has piss-poor range and requires you to get near point blank for it to actually work. It's a shame that Amy is the worst character here, especially after SA1 and Heroes actually did her pretty well. Next up on our to-do list is the hub worlds, which connect everything together. There are 3 in total, and holy fuck, talk about the most visually uninteresting and bland hub worlds I've ever seen in a 3D platformer. Soliana is based on Venice, a beautiful city, and yet they somehow made it look so boring. I don't even find this place or the other city area, New City, to be hard to navigate like other people. I just think that these places don't look good and have nothing going on with them, which is honestly kind of a shame coming off of SA1, which had hub worlds that were, for the most part, visually nice. Speaking of New City, I think it's the best out of the 3, but then again, best of Sonic 06's hub worlds is still pretty mediocre. Finally is the forest area, Soliana Forest, and ooh, I hate this place. It's so large, it's so empty, everything looks the same. This shit is like a tech demo for an open world game, not a fucking hub world for a 3D platformer. Breath of the Wild's prototype was probably more interesting than this, and what's worse is that you get dropped off here as Silver about 30 minutes into his story, which, yeah, sure, that's a good idea. Let's place the slowest character in the largest hub world, which is empty and boring. At the least, there is stuff to do in these hub worlds. You can talk to NPCs for some dialogue, which is neat, but honestly, it's whatever. But some of them will give you missions, which will award you rings which you can use in the shops. Some of these are fine, some of them are just asinine, and others just plain fucking suck, and I don't even think that it's the mission's faults, it's the load times. Perhaps the most infamous part of this game is the sheer assload of load times and their length, and while it's not bad when you're loading in and out of levels and whatnot, the missions, oh god, the missions. You talk to the NPC and accept the mission. Loading screen. They tell you what to do. Loading screen. Then after a minute, you can finally play the mission. Although God help you if that mission needs multiple times to load stuff in, like this box counting one, which because of that amount of loading screens that it needs, can take like 5 minutes. I wouldn't feel so poorly about doing the missions if it weren't for the amount of loading screens. Like, these are inoffensive at best, just not fun at worst, but they are entirely optional, so at least you don't have to interact with them if you don't want to, save for the 4 or 5 of them that are required, like this Elise escort mission Amy has to do. The real meat of this game is access through the hub worlds, and that is the action stages. Across the whole game are a grand total of 9 main levels, which are all experienced at least once with each Hedgehog. I think there's only one time where you're required to revisit a level, and that's in Sonic's story, but hey, at the very least, these levels are actually pretty well designed, and they just have you go from point A to point B with a little exception. Wave Ocean feels very similar to beach levels from the previous games like Seaside Hill or Emerald Coast, and you know what? I actually really like this one. I don't get why you have to play it twice in Sonic's story, once as Sonic and then later again as Tails. And in Shadow's story, Omega can just break this level in half with his hover, but outside of that, it's a fun level. Dusty Desert feels like, you know, whatever. At least as Sonic and Shadow, because holy fuck, this level as Silver sucks! You know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? The goddamn billiards puzzle at the end of his stage can just be so fucking impossible that everyone resorts to using these boxes near the end to clip through the door because it is so much easier than this fucking shit-ass puzzle. White Acropolis is yet another level that I feel is very fun. I will say that the snowboard physics in Sonic's part of the level are questionable, not to mention the tires of the buggy and Shadow's story clipping through the ground. But everything else about it is fun as all 3 Hedgehogs, and I really dig the nighttime snow theming. Crisis City is the poster child for the levels in this game, in no small part thanks to its return in Sonic Generations, and I absolutely see why they chose to bring this level back. The level feels so fast-paced, and the Flaming Ruin City style is very unique for a Sonic game. Although fuck Sonic's Mach Speed sections for the same reasons that I mentioned earlier. Flame Core is just a more dangerous Crisis City, and I don't have much more to say about it other than that. Well, Knuckles and Rouge do like to get stuck on the walls in this level, which is frustrating, and reminds me of one of my favorite Game Grumps clips. Radical Train. Okay, well that's more so mainly for the final part of the level for Sonic and Shadow. The main part of it is actually really nice, and I like the urgency in Sonic's version of the level, since you need to prevent this train from colliding with these bombs. Meanwhile, in Shadow's story, you want the train to explode. Tropical Jungle is a stage that you're really only going to properly experience with Sonic, since Rouge can just fly over the entire level and clear it in record time, and abusing Silver's hover can also let you break the level in two if you know what to do. Kingdom Valley is yet another level that would return in a future title, this time in Shadow Generations. This would also be one of the earliest levels shown off for the game, and I think as a result, this is one of the best designed levels here. Sonic and Silver have a good, yet challenging time with this one, with the only real problem being Shadow with this hover bike, since the towers can fall down and take Shadow with them, and the camera doesn't exactly like to show you where they are. Lastly is Aquatic Base, which again I think is a fun and well-designed level. It can go on for a bit long, especially in Sonic's story, but I oddly never found it punishing. As Shadow and Silver, they go through this when they get sent back into the past, and it's not bad there either. Shadow even gets a vehicle to just plow through enemies and shit, which is cathartic. Of course, at the end of certain stages are boss fights, and unlike the adventure games and Heroes, it doesn't matter if they're regular battles or character battles. These just suck no matter what. Watch as Sonic does fuck all against the Egg Genesis final attack. Watch as you build up the power meter to use Chaos Boost so that you can actually attack Mephiles for some fucking reason. Watch as Silver sends Sonic to fucking space. I don't think there was a single boss fight in this game that I actually felt was fun. The Egg Cerberus was tedious, any fight with Mephiles was painfully mid, the Iblis Worm fight takes for fucking ever and you have to fight at both the Sonic and Shadow. The only fight that was mildly interesting to me was the final battle against Iblis in Silver Story, since it's basically just the final Bowser fight from Yoshi's Island except without the awesome metal music. Speaking of the music, it is certainly one of the most consistently praised things about this game, and I absolutely agree with that. Look, you can say whatever you want about 06, but if you say that its OST is bad, then I choose death. His world, Sonic's theme, is a solid song, although I want to bring attention to his story's ending theme, Sweet Dream, an official remix of Sonic 2's ending theme. Of course, I have to highlight the all-new mix of All Hail Shadow by Crush 40. Lastly is Silver's Dream of an Absolution, which actually got a remix in collaboration with Jun Senoi, and it's my preferred version of this song. Take a listen. I suppose now it's finally time that we go into the last episode. We see Mephiles being Mephiles as we then cut to Elise and Sonic, who are then distracted by this Chaos Emerald when... Holy shit.
No. No!
Elise finally cries, which breaks the seal on Iblis, allowing Mephiles to take advantage of it and merge back with Iblis as the two reform into Solaris, which sends this blinding light all over the world. Time has been ripped asunder, with everyone appearing in this space-time void.
Hey guys, I thought I was in the future.
Not anymore, sugar tits.
This is all because of Solaris!
Wait, Sonic? Oh my god!
Sonic!
Sonic is dead!
I'm kinda glad he's dead, but I'm pissed I was the one who could kill him myself!
Wait, Sonic is only mostly dead. There's a big difference between mostly dead and all dead. Miracle Max, of course! We just need to get the 7 Chaos Emeralds and we can revive him like a Pokemon.
Now we have one final level, the End of the World, a stage where you play through it as all of the different characters, except Blaze because she's dead, in order to find the Chaos Emeralds while also avoiding these insta-kill time anomalies.
Sonic, I'm coming.
Please, God, work! Bring back upon us this blue blur! God,
Hang on, wait, what are you doing? You stink!
Hey guys, what the hell just happened? That was fucking weird. Shadow Silver, come here, let me share the love with you too as well.
With the 3 hedgehogs transformed into their super states, they fly off and take on Solaris, who is one of the easiest fights in the game, both phases of it. Just swap characters when your rings start to get low, spam A to keep boosting and he'll never hit you, and attack Solaris as much as possible. I will say the music for Solaris Phase 2, which is an orchestrated mix of his world, does slap hard. With Solaris defeated, time begins to heal as Sonic and Elise are sent back to when Solaris was just a little white flame. Elise is presented with the opportunity to blow out Solaris and prevent the events of this game, but is hesitant to, as it would mean never meeting Sonic, but the blue blur tells her to just smile, and with that, Elise blows out Solaris. We cut back to the present day, where Soliana is holding their fire festival that we saw at the start of the game, but no Eggman, no Silver, everything is just fine. Sonic shows up as just a visitor, but he and Elise never meet, and with no Solaris, the events of 06 have been completely erased from the timeline. But everything is fine now, and with that, we can bring an end to Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. Well, that's, I don't know what I expected, to be honest. There was a part of me that was absolutely wanting to desperately hate this game and tear into it with every fiber of my being, but after playing it to completion, I don't think I can, really. Don't get me wrong, this game absolutely does a lot of stuff pretty badly. The story can be questionable at several points, the art direction is pretty bad, and there are some baffling gameplay moments, like the poor collision detection, Amy, and Sonic's gem powers that drag it down for me. What was surprising to me is the amount of stuff that I would actually end up liking from this game. Most of the characters are fun to play, the levels are for the most part well designed, the music, the controls, it's all at the bare minimum fine. It kind of makes me think maybe 06 isn't that bad of a game. Sure, it has a lot of flaws, but it's not completely bankrupt of good qualities either. I don't think 06 is good or bad. No, I think 06 was simply disappointing at the time, which absolutely affected people's opinions on it, but in retrospect, it's an okay game that simply needed another year in the oven to truly flourish. Well, with that, I think we can end this little excursion back to the Sonic series, but when we do return, we'll start by taking a look at Sonic and the Secret Rings and go all the way to Sonic Boom: Rise of Lyric. But for now, I've got a certain green elf boy I need to revisit. I think I'm long overdue for a return to the Zelda franchise anyway. Subscribe to the channel if that sounds fun to you, and leave a like and a comment should you choose. And with all of that said, have a great day or night. Peace.